Should have left that talent in the minors.
Do you have any idea how annoying you are? Any idea?
I am just trying to point out to you that this whole...
I'm saying you should be playing every day, and you're not listening.
Microwave mentality that you and others that observe sports nowadays you need your championship now, and you'll mortgage the future however you get it. So why don't we put him
playing every day?
Why don't we put him in a time machine and get him to be like 30? The wonder years. You should enjoy this.
How about Tom Glavine last night, Carl? Your thoughts?
Good job.
I mean, he was okay. He got out of the first inning. He was very... Here's the one thing you're encouraged by, is that it's either feast or famine with Glavine usually, where early in the game, you know that he doesn't have it, and he loads the bases in the first inning last night, and you're thinking, oh, boy, here we go.
He grinded his way through it.
He did, and he got the big double play ball, and he was very pumped up by it and settled down from there to win number 299. And Paul LaDuca as well with a couple of doubles, two-run doubles. He is, I tell you, it's about time because he has been awful at the plate of late.
But, you know, that's what helps these pitchers. And when you get a guy who's, you know, Glavine's not, he's at the prime or below prime right now, but he's a guy that can give you something if you give him something back in terms of support with the bats. And you see it's no different than what's happening with the Yankees, too. Their pitching hasn't changed dramatically. Their bats have. And I think that's what's been a big boost to them.
It's 6:30. We need to take a break. Going to let calmer heads prevail. See if you can go drink some green tea and
have a little
ease
bit
into
of
your
muffin.
day and have some of your muffin and perhaps lighten up.
Why don't you go give Tracy a little thumb in the back so you can move that spasm out there?
You're the single guy. Even though Tracy's not. So
you got that big massage thumb, though. That big...
What?
You got the big history teacher thumb.
So coming up on 6:31 on the Fan, we're coming back.
You are listening to Chris Carlin on Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Experience great Nikon moments from Live Nation Summer Concert. Check out the Rock and Roll Picture Show at SonyNikon.com, powered by Nikon. Today's best concert photos, pictures by music's biggest stars like John Mayer and more. Nikon Live, your all-access photo pass at SonyNikon.com.
Reason number 22 to switch to Geico. We think renters are cool. Now, we don't know if you were born cool or if it's just all the cool stuff you have in your apartment. The point is, if you want to protect your considerable coolness, ask Geico about renter's insurance. For as little as $12 a month, you can protect all the stuff you hold near and dear, including that combination flat-screen TV espresso machine. Now that is cool.
For a fast, easy rate quote on just information regarding a shocking offer on the Volvo S80, please cover your ears. If you're driving, get your passengers to cover them for you. Here we go. For a limited time, we're offering 0 down, 0 first payment, and 0 security deposit. That's right, 0 cash due on delivery on the powerful and luxurious S80 sedan. And if that's not shocking enough, the S80 comes available with amenities like a Dyne Audio premium sound system, active by Xenon headlights, and a 311 horsepower V8 engine that can go from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. Just sign your name and drive away. It's that easy.
Right now at the Volvo Sign and Drive sales event, lease a 2007 Volvo S80 for $49 a month for 24 months. 0 cash due at signing. No security deposit required, excludes taxes and registration fees. Visit TriStateVolvoDealers.com today.
Our Sign and Drive sales event is the perfect time to go to a Volvo retailer. We know you'll hear the answers you want, as long as you want shocking ones. Volvo, for life.
Tiger Woods chose TLC Laser Eye Centers for his LASIK procedure. To schedule your free consultation, call 877-TLC-2020 or visit TLCvision.com.
Imagine living truly debt-free. No credit card debt, no car payments, no mortgage. Just your daily living expenses. And you can do this with just the money you already make. I'm John Commuta, creator of the Transforming Debt into Wealth program. I did it, and so have nearly 500,000 others using my proven system.
I'm completely debt-free now, thanks to John Commuta.
I will be able to pay off my house in approximately 2.5 years on a 30-year mortgage.
It works no matter how much debt you have. My system doesn't consolidate your debt. It eliminates it. It's easy, risk-free, and works with any income level.
And once we got on the system, we were able to eliminate about 90% of our debt.
I never have to worry about who's calling me or who's knocking on my door.
Call now and I'll rush you a free tape that will show you the power of my proven system. 1-800-300-4662. 1-800-300-4662. That's 1-800-300-4662.
7:05 on the Fan. Chris Carlin, Carl Banks, Charles McCord with you throughout the morning, and we spent a lot of time talking about A-Rod through the first hour.
Before we get to that,
What?
Charles mentioned this whole local debate going national.
What, the Elliot Spitzer stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Charles, why would anyone think Elliot Spitzer would be guilty of investigating and probing things?
What do you mean?
Exactly.
That's what he is.
Who, me? That's Elliot saying, who, me?
Oh, my God.
Investigate? I'm sure he can get a few character witnesses to vouch that he would never do that, right?
Mr. Wall Street Monitor, come on.
He took down Titans.
So clarify this for me, Charles. So Bruno is pointing the finger right back at him? Is that what's going on?
Well, precisely. He says he's warning
he thinks he knew about it.
He thinks he knew about it. He thinks there's no way that
it has
is
his
absolutely
fingerprints on it.
That it's unbelievable that he couldn't have known about it.
It shows signs of the old Elliot Spitzer. It has his fingerprints all over it. Like, this certainly looks like something he would orchestrate.
Because he was such a prosecutorial sort and continues to be supposedly, certainly in Joe Bruno's estimation, as governor, and that he's a micromanager, and that is just beyond belief that he wouldn't have known. At least that is what is being said. And did he know in advance that his aides were refusing to testify before Andrew Cuomo, the state attorney general, was looking into this, and the whole thing, and that it was all for political gain, and simply the ongoing feud between Spitzer and Bruno was Spitzer trying to take down Joe Bruno, the Senate Majority Leader in the state of New York.
Another reason A-Rod won't come back.
Exactly.
We'll get into it a little bit more, but just the point you're making about all the revenue that this guy generates and all that stuff, I understand it completely. I just don't think when it comes to the Yankees, that is as much of a factor as the other stuff.
Okay.
As winning.
No.
As winning.
And Charles made a very important point, and this is important to the Yankees. To the legacy of championships and great players, for a guy who could, if stay healthy,
if he realizes his potential.
He is the greatest player. He's on track to be the greatest player ever in baseball.
That's fine.
You think that wouldn't look good under an NY?
That's fine. I agree with that.
Do you think those things aren't important to the Yankees?
But I think
that's what's important.
I think the thing
greatness and wins.
I think the thing that is most important to the Yankees is winning.
Championships, absolutely.
Yeah. And if this guy again shows that in the playoffs he can't get it done,
I think
there is going to be a very big stigma around him, and there's going to be a lot of debate
hard,
whether or not they bring him back.
They think long and hard because, the fact is he's not necessarily, we wouldn't consider him a jerk around the clubhouse. He seems to get along well with others.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exactly. Not yes, not yet. Yeah. Okay, he coexists well with others.
I would say I would just say he coexists with others. I wouldn't even say well.
Okay, so but for a guy,
and it's not that he's a bad
think about this. But for a guy with the numbers he has, he's not an arrogant, media guy. Where me. Look, I'm on track to. He's not that guy. He's not bigger than. I don't think he treats people in the press.
No, I'll give you
like garbage.
I'll give you a personal story for a second. All right. Before he came to the Yankees in 2002, I was producing for Mike and Chris. Mm-hmm. And they had never had him on, okay? So we're in spring training, and the Yankees are playing Texas, and he makes the trip. So Mike and Chris are doing their show from there. We got all the Yankees players on, but they did it from a phone in the clubhouse. I went up to A-Rod in the Rangers clubhouse when he got pulled out of the game. And I said, listen, I produced Mike and the Mad Dog, blah, blah, blah. And I saw a phone in the clubhouse. And I said, we could just do it from the phone over there. And he said, well, why don't you tell them to come down? Because they were up in the press box. I'm like, well, they can't really do that because they're doing the show. And he said, well, come back in a half hour and I'll go with you up there and we'll go on. And I'm thinking at this point, all right, he's probably blowing me off. I come back in a half hour. It's 5 o'clock, which is the prime time for us because everybody's getting in their car. I said, you ready to do this? He said, yeah, let's go. And he walks through the Yankee offices, around all these people, through everybody, to make sure to go upstairs and sit down for 20 minutes with these guys out of nowhere. So that makes me think, all right, you know what? The guy gets it. on some level. You know, understood it was important to see them face to face and to talk about it. And, you know, point being is that, you know, he has a good understanding of that kind of stuff.
And he knows not to burn it.
Right. But were there times over the last couple of years where perhaps he was overly concerned with that kind of stuff? Possibly. And I don't sense that that's the case this year. I think this year has been about playing baseball, has been about making himself get out of this whole idea that he is not mentally a tough player. You know, I mean,
he's changing the focus to the things. He's letting his bat speak for him. But the thing is, the debate will rage, you know, or the conversation will continue. What are the merits of keeping A-Rod, and what would be the criteria? If the Yankees had their druthers and A-Rod had his druthers, what would be the criteria by which the Yankees would say, yes, we'll keep him even if do they say, well, maybe he's not as good as he should be in the playoffs, but...
All right, well, I'll tell you what. After the news, you and I will come back and outline some criteria, and you tell me, you be Brian Cashman, you be Scott Boras. You tell me if he's coming back in these different scenarios.
Okay.
All right? 11 minutes after 7, Charles is here. He's got the news.
Presidential Commission has some blunt, unvarnished words for the veterans' health care system, calling it simply too complicated and too confusing. And the panel, co-chaired by former Republican Senator Bob Dole, is calling for an overhaul of the way veterans out of Iraq and Afghanistan wars, when they get back here, the way they're treated. Commission co-chair and former Senator Dole says the panel did its homework.
We went way back to the report by General Omar Bradley in 1956. I mean, that's how long this problem has been out there, and it's been, you know, band-aided and band-aided and band-aided by well-intentioned people.
The group has made a half-dozen recommendations how to do something better than apply Band-Aids, including that medical and rehabilitation teams work together to create individual recovery plans for wounded troops. It also urges the Pentagon and Veterans Administration to assemble a staff of caseworkers to make certain that every veteran receives appropriate treatment, somebody assigned to each case. Today in Iraq, at least 5 Iraqis died when a roadside bomb exploded near their vehicle and destroyed it. All victims were police officers hit on their way home from an operation with U.S. forces down south of Baghdad. But the month of July has seen a reduced number of U.S. casualties. Army Lieutenant General Ray Odierno says that's because troops are gaining control of some militant strongholds.
Going into these areas, we knew it'd be tough in the beginning. We've now taken control of these areas. Since then, we've started to see a slow, gradual reduction in casualties, and it continues in July.
However, the death toll from a pair of bombings targeting soccer fans in Baghdad yesterday has now risen to 50, more than 100 wounded, as thousands of revelers had flooded
Seat. Just sign your name and drive away. It's that easy.
Right now at the Volvo Sign and Drive sales event, lease a 2007 Volvo XC90 all-wheel drive for $539 a month for 24 months. Zero cash due at signing. No security deposit required, excludes taxes and registration fees. Visit TriStateVolvoDealers.com today.
Our Sign and Drive sales event is the perfect time to go to a Volvo retailer. We know you'll hear the answers you want, as long as you want shocking ones. Volvo, for life.
6:05 on the Fan. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. How are you?
Hideous.
That's good.
Happy Friday.
How you doing?
How you doing?
That's
you gonna
Carl
do,
Banks.
What you gonna do?
You know the voice of Charles McCord. What are you going to do?
What you gonna do?
We got plenty to do. That's what we're going to do. There's a lot to talk about over the next several hours till 10 a.m.
Friday Fun Day.
Exactly right. You know what? Every day with you this week has been fun day.
You'll have me back?
In a couple of weeks.
Should I campaign to do this a little more often? Chuck, would you have me back? Like Chuck Willery say, did you enjoy it? Would you do it again?
Would you
have me back?
Well, was it good for you?
It was good for me.
Don't put it like that.
Can you light my cigarette, Chuck?
Don't put it like that.
Would you have me back?
Of course, and we're going to in a couple of weeks. Of course. Come on, we have campaigned. The bigger question is, would you have me back?
Well, there you go.
Listen, we'll talk to Cherney and see if I can get here and do a little more of this.
How has the morning thing been okay
for you?
I
really love this, man.
How has the morning thing been for you?
I love it.
You don't mind getting up as early as you do?
No, I love it.
Are you a superhuman or something?
No, he's just a masochist.
No, I enjoy it. I mean, I'm in here with good people, and I enjoy it. We have a great time. I hope you get as much out of it as I do.
I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed us. I think that there's been a connection.
Here we go.
I feel like that.
I think it's a man crush happening again.
I admitted having a man crush on Ian last week, and I can see it developing.
Oh, my God.
So you go up and down the line. I mean, Ian is all of what?
Ian probably 5'7",
7,
5'6", 5'7".
And I got him by a whole foot.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
So you're pretty,
it's about your personality. It's about what's inside CB.
And most times people want me for my body.
No, we love you for your mind.
That's so encouraging.
We'll talk about Carl's body throughout the morning.
No, I've enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoy doing this.
Well, we got plenty to do this morning. We'll certainly get into plenty going on around the Yankees and Mets and around the world in general. Why don't we find out what's going on around the world?
Stupid crooks, too, man.
Yeah.
There's a few stupid crooks in the news today.
Yeah, we do. But you know what? There is nothing better than a stupid crook story.
We have our Stupid Crooks segment. Stupid Crooks Tricks.
Yeah, this one was a trick.
Well, at 8 minutes after 6, Chuck has got the news.
And a lot of attention on downtown Manhattan this morning, Chris. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. And
You know where to go after the show. That's true. Colin's not above puffing a cigar through a hole. Yeah, this girl's feet got cut off. It was a great, Six Flags in Kentucky, and she was on a ride there. Both of her feet got ripped off. The Superman ride. Why don't you lend it to yours, Caterpillar? Not many to spare. Yeah, yours just grow back. And yours would love to know how to get ripped off.
She was on this Superman ride where they sit in this circular thing and their feet dangle over the edge, and it gets lifted up to about 250 feet and then kind of free falls until you about 20 feet from the ground, and then the brakes come on.
Right.
And they hoisted them up to 250 feet, and this cable kind of snapped and actually wrapped around her feet.
Oh, my God.
And ripped her feet off.
Oh,
both feet.
She lived?
Yeah, and both feet just kind of tumbled 250 feet to the ground, which I always think is the reason, like, they could reattach it until it hits the ground, and then you got 2 broken feet.
Why do I feel like if you weren't doing this, you'd be one of those carnival ride operators, Anthony?
Yeah, I could be.
You got that look about you.
I got that, come on.
You're from Patchogue, I know.
Give the cute girls the free ride. That is like 14-year-old girls. Hey, you're cute girls. Go out later. Various cities that this roving carnival goes to. They'll never catch me.
I told you, Opie, Anthony's brother beat up my cousin one time from many years ago.
Really? Years ago.
In Patchogue or in Ronkonkoma.
Joe did? Somewhere. Yeah, I think
one of these hillbilly towns.
One of those Islip or somewhere.
He gave my cousin a nice thumping.
A little self-thrashing.
For what reason?
I think he was being a dick.
He might, well, of course, that's your family's side of the table.
It was the Irish against the Italians. It had to go down.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, there was something going on there, and Joe had to pummel him. That's all right. Later, my mother decided she had to move us to a cheaper place, so we moved to Central Islip.
Whoa.
Which then I got my ass kicked constantly. Give me 50 cents. That's what I heard every day. Give me 50 cents. Like, okay, please don't be
If you give it to him?
I have to.
No, you don't. You stand up for yourself.
It's prison.
You're saying no.
I was in elementary prison. That's what I was in. I was in elementary prison.
CIA is hardcore. You have to give him the money. Jeez,
you gotta give him the 50 cents.
Sexual favors like you. Get out of it. I have a better idea than 50 cents. I wouldn't have minded that if Baby Body wasn't nervously shifting his feet while he said it. My leg hurts. Shut up, tall Baby Body.
His knee is still healing.
Good. As soon as it heals, I want to smash it with a stick. As soon as it heals, he's scheduled to be slaughtered by a Cambodian village ritually.
That's right, Brando. You heard him. I heard him, and he really's got some good ones. Well, I wish he didn't tell him I was going to be in. He was up all night writing. Oh, you an assassin, Willard?
All right, well, we got the update on the feet girl. Yeah, let's hear about her. Feet girl update.
The girl whose feet were severed while riding on this Six Flags ride in Kentucky is now in stable condition.
In wobbly condition.
From Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where 13-year-old Caitlin Lassiter is being treated, hospital management said the parents of Caitlin Lassiter would like to acknowledge everyone across the country that have been supporting their daughter with many positive thoughts and prayers over the last 6 days.
Do they reattach their feet or not?
They haven't said, and they won't say. They said,
how are you going to reattach their feet?
I don't
Stupid.
know. They gathered them up and took them to the hospital.
Procedure? I don't know.
Some type of microsurgery, I think.
Imagine with a needle and thread, a glue and a hot gun. She's going to have just gray dead feet.
Oh, they're going to look awful.
Or they put them on a little
feet.
crooked, pointing left. Yeah, they put them. I would have put them on backwards just to be silly.
I don't think you can make money off it.
What'd you say?
Also added that Caitlin's parents would like to state for the record that despite claims in the media by representatives from Kentucky Kingdom Theme Park, at no time has any representative of the theme park been in touch with members of the family. Oh. That prompted Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom to release this statement. Representatives from Kentucky Kingdom traveled to the hospital immediately following the accident and were there for some time before the family requested that they leave. We are deeply saddened by this incident and, of course, have genuine concern for the well-being of the entire family.
Oh, yeah, that means the lawyer was like, get him out of here.
Exactly.
Get him out of here. You're going to mess up the case.
Don't screw up the case. We got a good one here.
Oh, yeah. I'd lose a couple of feet for that type of money.
Would you?
Pounds. Thanks, Ed. Deserve more than I thought. I was thinking,
very good.
I'm not saying it was a prior bit, but it was just on timing alone.
That wasn't me laughing. It was his feet.
It just wasn't good enough for that setup. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, dear Bob. He's already almost crushed his knees with that damn thing. Now his feet are going to go in. It's like
I don't want to just tease Bob.
Yeah.
It's like an avalanche onto a tent when he walks.
It can't just be Bash Bob Day. You're right.
Yeah, let's drop that.
Bob, and he turned on me.
Bob,
I had to do something, Jim.
Bob looks hurt.
No, I'm good.
Are you hurt?
I'm liking it.
I think Jimmy was actually complimenting you when he said, I think you lost some weight.
I actually thought he did lose a few pounds. How do you think Colin lost a few or gained a few? Colin looks the same.
Colin looks the same as he did last time I saw him.
An elephant? No, he doesn't look any heavy.
What was that? The same as what, an elephant?
He doesn't even have a receding hairline. His head just got so fat.
Oh, my God.
That's pretty hurtful.
That is really
Wow. There's no need for that.
That's uncalled for from the Iranian Kevin James. It really hurts.
All right, fat Keith Sutherland.
Oh, you want to go for the oldies? All right. All right, Margaret Show.
And the worst thing is we can't even see each other's faces when we're doing this.
I know.
We're
not even looking at each
We're
other.
so used to talking on the phone doing the same thing.
It doesn't matter. You're used to this.
I tell you, if I let you listen to his voicemail message, I could actually have him brought up on charges.
All right, we're going to break. Regroup here. Colin Quinn.
A lot of good things happening. A lot of good big things.
Yeah?
Up for a writing job on Flight of the Conchords. Jimmy said he'll speak to somebody for me.
He loves that show.
Yeah, submitting sketch ideas. It's funny, man. I love that show. They both look straight ahead.
That's ironic.
They don't look at each other. That's crazy.
That's ironic.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just two guys that communicate so naturally. Awkward's always funny.
Yeah. This is the O&A virus spreading across America.
Could be the most disgusting program you've ever heard. What the hell is that?
Oh, my God. That is effed up.
Just to clarify, it doesn't leak on its own.
Oh, my God. What are you, crazy? What are you, insane?
What does he have?
He has rotting corneas. What do you have?
I have rotting corneas.
Wow. Let's just say he's got a growth. All right, a scrotal growth. Scrotal growth.
It's the return of What the Hell Is That on the Opie and Anthony Show. If there's some...
And, funny, I thought it was called bitching.
No, it ain't whining when you don't have a water cooler that works in the joint. You got a guy like Charles McCord who, again, whenever I was his guest, he would make sure I had everything I needed. It was there.
You know
And
what, Charles?
You got guys in the newsroom that are walking around like parched animals without water in the desert. Okay, and I hope, I don't know who sent this over.
Neither do I.
But thank you to the folks at Glacier. They sent over smart water, and I think a guy who probably should be credited with this because I pulled him off the road. He was closing a deal.
Bob Gelb.
Bob Gelb was in the middle of closing a deal for this station so that you can be paid.
Anybody who believes that.
With All-American Ford. He just closed a deal with All-American Ford so that you can be paid. And he says, Carl, I'm going to get this water deal addressed with you. Now, you talk about a guy multitasking. You know what? There's one guy I know that does work for you.
Bobby Gelb.
Bobby Gelb.
I don't doubt that, but anybody who believes that you were off the golf course taking care of the water thing all day,
you ask
caring
Bobby
about us,
listen,
I mean, that's garbage.
I tell you what, you call Bob Gelb right now at 4 o'clock. He says, I have to give you a call at 4 o'clock. I was on the putting green, and I had to take a conference call because Bob Gelb, in the middle of closing a deal, made sure that you had water, and he made sure that you could get paid next week because he went out and closed the big deal.
Well, here's what I know.
Partnering with WFAN.
Here's what I know.
Is what he's doing.
Chuck and I have been here.
He's extolling the virtues.
Chuck and I have been here, and we have gotten nothing done.
Nothing.
You're here 2 days,
and you got water.
And we are, as they say, swimming in it.
And what does that mean? We have not. We have zero juice. Who has the juice?
No.
That guy right there.
I am your advocate, Charles.
You have the juice.
I am
you are the people's champion.
No, you know what I am? I'm a whiner. I'm a whiner. Give me a cause and I'll whine about it.
But you know what? You got it done. That's the bottom line.
And you know what else I got done?
What?
I got Bobby Gelb to get off of one appointment and get something else done.
Multitask.
I'll tell you.
He is the guy. He can get it done.
That is a heck of a job.
And I think you got a wall full of other water out there for the cooler.
There is. That's the other thing is we got these 2 cases of water, and we have the regular water with the cooler with about 15 jugs of the,
Yeah, but the only thing about it, they didn't bring a new cooler because that cooler's been vacant for about...
there were flies
3 weeks
around it.
There were flies and probably, the Taco Bell scandal where the mice were doing...
Thanks
we're doing gymnastics on the chairs.
Could have done without that, but
that's probably Olympic swimming going on in that cooler. So I wouldn't load that cooler until they bring a new one.
Well, we got plenty going on.
And we'll have another issue to deal with.
That you will take care of. You will have the health commission in here so quickly.
Partnering with Bobby Gelb and telling people the benefits of having an association with this great station. Thanks to you, it works for all of us.
Thanks to you.
No,
we appreciate it.
Thanks to you.
Working for us.
Well, Michael Vick was in court yesterday and pleaded not guilty, walked in at 2:54 p.m. to some cheers. I heard some cheers. And booze. Mostly booze.
More jeers than cheers.
I agree. I did. I was even alarmed that I heard any cheers. But there were a couple, but mostly jeers, and pleads not guilty. And something that we talked to Janine Pirro about the other day has become very, very clear is that there are more charges coming.
To come.
Yeah, absolutely. They are lining up at this point as far as what else he's going to be charged with. Vic, pleading not guilty, there is virtually no way I can see that he actually can play an NFL season this year. Would not expect him to at this point.
Well, you know what? I don't think he's expecting to either. And this actually works great for the Atlanta Falcons. It works great for the league because it takes the spotlight off of whether or not the league is going to discipline him. This is pretty much a legally imposed suspension, if you will. He's not allowed to camp, but in his, in mounting a defense, he's not going to be able to come and play football on Sundays and mount a great defense. Now, he has a great lawyer. Charles, you know a lot about Billy Martin, don't you? He's one of the higher profile Washington lawyers, isn't he?
Yes, he is, as a matter of fact.
He's taking on some pretty big cases versus the government, I believe.
That's headline stuff, sure.
Yeah.
Now, one theory that I've heard from a lot of fans is, well, listen, what does he really have to do with the defense team and all this stuff. You know, he's not the one going through all the paperwork and stuff like that. He's got a lot to do. He's the most important member of that defense team in relationship to playing this year. In other words, he's got nothing to do. They have all the work to do. No. He's got to be there whenever they have any kind of witness pop up, whenever they have anybody, so his attorneys can go through things with him immediately and know what's going on. They don't want to, as somebody put on, I was watching the NFL Network coverage of it yesterday, as somebody put, one of their analysts said, they don't want to be calling Michael Vick and have his cell phone off because he's in a meeting getting ready for the Saints.
And the thing also is he is the guy who's writing the checks, and he's the guy who's got to sit there and get his life together. You know, why would you want to be on a football field while this type of thing is in the headlines, pretending as if your life is fine, because it's not. And it sends the wrong message first and foremost. You know, so spend your money, write your checks, and stay out of the spotlight and let your defense team, you know, try to save your life as you know it anyway. I mean, it's cast a bad light. It will be a negative shadow following the Atlanta Falcons and the NFL as a whole with him out there on the field and this case pending. It just brings the wrong attention.
From the Falcons standpoint.
And if you're a juror, what are you thinking? Oh, this guy thinks he's got it beat.
Absolutely. Now, from the Falcons standpoint, how long do they have to deal with this in training camp over the next few days before they can actually have somebody ask them about football? Or is it going to be there every day no matter what?
Well, it's going to be there to a degree. The other aspect of it, if the focus will change, and then it'll probably be some anger because the focus is now going to change to, wow, Joey Harrington really stinks.
Yeah.
And Michael Vick has left us in a lurch. And we shouldn't have gotten rid of Matt Schaub. But that's where the conversation will be. It will be football related, but it won't be this dogfight related.
People are bringing up Dante Culpepper's name. Problem is that from what I understand,
reviews were great.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Now, this was not an unbelievable movie, but for a series like that, it was what it had to be.
Let me say, reviews have been solid.
No, yeah, I mean, they're very good. Very good. No, you're right about that.
And it opened at like 20 million more than they anticipated.
72 million.
72 million.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna make $250 million off this thing.
Oh, at least.
You know,
incredible.
And the thing I would say is just very good. It's an hour and 20. It was what it had to be, and it's PG-13, so they did like 2 or 3 little things that they couldn't do on TV. But that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah. But it was very funny.
Another solid review from the continent.
Exactly.
Chuck, do you know what I wonder when I started to hear this story?
What?
What was the popcorn and candy and soft drink situation with Carlin at the movie theater?
It was a little creepy. Okay, because
all you heard was going to the road that Chris was sitting on. You heard this. Mom back. Mom back. Mom back.
You heard the actual beeping from the truck. You know, but we had it was a little creepy because it was myself, it was Dan Cronin, it was Dan Cronin's girlfriend,
oh boy,
and it was Rob Axisa who produces the Overnight.
I'd say it was creepy for Dan's girlfriend.
Yeah, because she was sitting in the middle of all of us.
Right.
Dan went to see it twice on Friday afternoon.
Also
twice.
Creepy.
Good.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well worth it.
Well, a little bit.
Can you please just give me the popcorn and candy situation?
All I had was a soda, but I mean, this is like every stupid stand-up comedian's little bit. But you ask for a medium, and it's a gallon.
Yes. No, I understand that.
And if you want a large, it's a nickel more, and it's 2 gallons. So, all I had was a soda. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Really?
I had some of Dan's popcorn, but
I don't know how you go to the movies and don't get popcorn.
I don't know.
Isn't there a law about that?
I don't know. I mean, I hate to break stereotypes, but
you're shattering one right now.
I'm sorry. There was a little bit of butter involved, but there wasn't much else.
What's next? Carrot sticks for lunch?
No. But Kim, let's not get nuts here. Let's not.
A veggie burger?
No. There won't even be a turkey burger. I mean, come on.
No.
I mean, I hate to go right to the fat thing immediately, but you know,
we did. I didn't do it.
I didn't go to a fat thing, but this junk food situation is disturbing
but it was
to me.
only, I don't know what it was. The other problem was that Yeah, as we've discussed before, I have not slept well the last week because the air conditioning is out, and that's a problem for a guy like me. It's coming back today, thank God. The two air conditioning guys will be greeted as conquering heroes.
I understand.
In my apartment today.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So I started to nod off a little bit in the middle of the movie, so I might need to go see it again. It was, it's like, it tilt my head back.
There was a guy on my plane from Kansas City, what day? Friday morning.
Yeah.
Friday morning? Yeah, Friday morning. It was a 6:45 a.m. flight, so I'm thinking all I want to do is sleep.
Yeah.
He was snoring like that in a robe, like either directly behind me or, I don't know, maybe two. It was so disgusting, I wanted to throw something at him and wake him up. Would that have been inappropriate?
No.
It would not have been?
No. I've had it happen, actually, on a Rutgers charter one time when I was, head tilted back, snoring like that.
You would have been congratulated by fellow...
I would have been all right?
Yeah.
But what if I threw something that would have hurt?
One of the doctors from Rutgers threw a pillow at me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was keeping, other people up.
I was thinking shoe.
The in-flight magazine just tries to swat him back.
All this and plenty more coming up this morning, 12 minutes after the hour. Here's Chuck with the news.
Couple of the headline stories this morning. Today, President Bush will be wrapping up 2 days of talks with Britain's new leader, Gordon Brown, at Camp David. And White House spokesman Tony Snow says there is to be a long agenda.
The two will follow the issues that are closest to them. They'll talk about the Middle East. They'll talk about security in Europe. They'll talk about Darfur. They certainly will talk about Iraq. They will talk about the broader war on terror.
Mr. Brown and President Bush plan a news conference after today's meeting. There was a bright spot in Iraq over the weekend. Its national soccer team scored a major victory for the country, beating Saudi Arabia 1-0, took the Asian Cup, and people poured into the streets. Celebrated across the country despite suicide bomb attacks that had killed more than 50 people in Baghdad after last Wednesday's semifinal victory. They avoided that. Iraq had never before made it to the final even, but the penchant for firing automatic weapons into the air in celebration in that part of the world did result in tragedy. Nevertheless, at least 4 people killed in that gunfire, the celebratory gunfire, and scores, they haven't even come out with a final figure, scores injured. President Bush is the reason Al-Qaeda is in Iraq. So declares New York Congressman Charlie Rangel on CNN's Late Edition, adding that oil is the real reason the U.S. started the war.
There was no weapons of mass destruction. There was no Osama bin Laden that was in Iraq that we know of. It had nothing to do with 9/11.
Rangel's comment regarding oil was in response to another guest on the show, Republican Congressman Chris Shays of Connecticut. Shays had said the U.S. doesn't want Iraq to be a, quote, playground for Iran.
65% of the world's energy is in this area. We just can't walk away. We need to lead in a very methodical and sensible way.
When asked about embattled Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, Rangel said Gonzales and the scandal over last year's U.S. attorney firings are another example of the Bush administration's lack of integrity. And Shays fired back that the Democrats in Congress are spending all their time on investigations related to the president and his staff. He said the country has real problems that the Congress should be addressing. A senior Republican senator says Democrats are playing politics with embattled Attorney General Gonzales. On ABC's This Week yesterday, Orrin Hatch attacking Democrats who say Gonzales should step down because of contradictory testimony he has given to congressional committees.
But after all these hearings, all of this bluster, all of this moaning and groaning by the Democrats, they have not shown one reason why there was any impropriety. And they can't show that.
Hatch says Democrats are using Gonzales as a punching bag to try to get Mr. Bush, and added that they should cease any investigation into the Attorney General because it could compromise national security. Gasoline prices are a few degrees easier on the pocketbook these days, according to analyst Trilby Lundberg, who does a weekly survey of 7,000 gasoline retailers nationwide.
Gasoline prices are 17 cents down, with regular grade now at $2.88 per gallon on average.
Nation's lowest average in Cleveland, gallon of regular, $2.65. The highest was found in Chicago at $3.29. Officials say they're in the initial stages of investigating a deadly accident involving 2 Arizona television news helicopters. National Transportation Safety Board trying to figure out what caused the choppers to collide and plunge to the ground in a park All 4 people aboard the 2 aircraft were killed. Montana, hot, dry, windy weather helping a wildfire near Glacier National Park grow to roughly 5,000 acres yesterday. Officials say the blaze has expanded from just 1,000 acres 1 day earlier. And researchers say the number of tropical storms developing annually in the Atlantic Ocean has more than doubled over the past century. The increase, say the scientists, taken place in a couple of jumps, an average of a half dozen cyclones per year from 1905 to 1930, then up to 10 from 31 to 94, and 15 tropical storms in the period from 1995 to 2005, hurricanes included. And those are some of the headlines coming up on 17 minutes past the hour.
Mr. Jackson, we're calling to say you're late on your credit card bill. Can you please call us to schedule a payment and avoid future late fees?
If you're getting collection calls from your credit card companies and you want to put a stop to it, gather your bills now and call the Debt Helpline.
Mr. Jackson, we've been trying to reach you. If we don't hear from you soon, your account will go into collections.
We can help you stop the late and over limit fees on most of your credit cards and reduce your high interest rates, in some cases up to 60%.
Mr. Jackson, this is our last warning call. The next call will be from our legal department.
Get your debt and credit card bills under control. Gather your bills and call today for a free consultation on how we can help you get out of debt. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Chris Carlin and Ken Jones.
What if I told you that you could learn a new language the same way you learned your first language, with no tedious translations, no useless memorization, and no boring drills? You'd have every right to be skeptical, especially if you struggled with languages in the past. That's why we want to send you a free demo CD-ROM from Rosetta Stone. You'll find out what U.S. diplomats, over 10,000 schools, and NASA already know, that this is the world's fastest, easiest way to learn a new language, guaranteed. Call now to request your free CD-ROM and try it with our compliments. Learn a language better than you thought possible and faster than you ever imagined. Call 1-800-500-0604 and we'll rush you the free Rosetta Stone CD-ROM today. Remember, there's no tedious translation, memorization, or drills. And the Rosetta Stone program offers 28 different languages. Call for your free Rosetta Stone demo CD-ROM today and see how easy and effective it really is. Call 1-800-500-0604. That's 1-800-500-0604.
Hey, Kim, are you still trying to quit smoking?
Yes, it's so hard, but I know I have to keep trying.
Did you know that the New York State Smokers Quit line is offering free patches and gum?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, my sister called and she said the people at the Quit line were really helpful.
You know, I'm going to give them a call.
Are you ready to quit smoking? We can help. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free patches, gum, or lozenges. Most people qualify. That's 1-866-697-8487.
They're out there. Shopping carts. And while it's tough to protect the outside of your car, at least you can protect the inside. Use Haviland with Deposit Shield. The deposits that attack your engine every time you drive can cause friction, robbing it of performance and fuel efficiency. Haviland shields it. Defend your engine. Haviland with Deposit Shield. Protect precious metal. Available at auto parts stores, mass merchants, and your local Texaco Express Loop. WFAN celebrates 20 years as the flagship station for New York sports. Brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. Verizon Wireless, America's most reliable wireless network. The New Jersey Lottery. Give your dreams a chance. Corbel Champagne. Celebrate your great moment. Pizza Hut. Want more? Get it from Pizza Hut, America's favorite pizza. And Alpine Lace Deli Swiss cheese. So full-flavored, you won't believe it's 25% less fat.
If you want to make your hard-earned dollar go a whole lot farther, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has the low prices guaranteed to save you money. Get ready to get the best price possible on all the parts and accessories you need with our ready-to-go low price guarantee. Nobody can beat our prices on just about anything for your car. So when you want to get more for your money while getting more out of your car, get to Advance Auto Parts for our everyday ready-to-go low price guarantee. Ready in advance. In store for details.
I'm
Tracy Burgess with the Lexus Dealers Fan Highway Patrol, brought to you by Ethan Allen. At Ethan Allen, we can help as little or as much as you like, and our design service is complimentary. It's about finding solutions to everyday needs. What can we do for you? Visit Ethan Allen today. On Long Island, Southern State Parkway, eastbound, watch out at exit 21. That's Nassau Road in Roosevelt. There's an accident there. Troopers are on the scene slowing things down as everybody rubbernecks to look at what's going on. Northern State looks good, and the LIE building in the usual spots at the Nassau-Suffolk line and also into Queens. Bell Parkway, both directions at the Mill Basin Drawbridge. It was in the up position. They've put it down now, so delays are starting to ease. Looking good at the Hudson River crossings. No problems to report at the Holland, Lincoln, or at the GWB. And they have put the speed limit back up at the Tappan Zee Bridge to 55 miles an hour. The WFAN forecast for today, some cloud showers moving in later. High mid-80s, still 71 and partly cloudy skies in Central Park. I'm Tracy Burgess with the Lexus Dealers Fan Highway Patrol.
Coming up on 622 on the Fan, Chris Carlin, Kimberly Jones, Charles McCord with you this week on Sports Radio 66. So, Kimberly, let's start with the New York Yankees,
yes,
where you spent your... Well, you told me a couple of weeks ago you like Kimberly, so I'm going with Kimberly.
But you always call me Kim.
Or
I'm
Jones.
Kim. Yeah, you've called me a lot of different things. Kimberly sounded so formal.
But Kimberly is so lyrical. I love Kimberly.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
That's nice. That's a good way to put
like
lyrical.
I like that.
Chuck's mind is always thinking in terms of, piano and how things translate musically.
It's so nice to meet Chuck.
Romanticism. Kimberly.
I took piano lessons, Chuck, for like 10 years, about 4 of which I was really into it when I was a kid. I want to take them again, I think.
Oh,
and relearn it. I don't know if I could, though, now.
Precisely my situation. Took them when I was a kid, quit, got PO'd, and having to practice and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to practice ever.
Resumed when I was like 50.
Right.
So there's a slight gap in my education, but it's great.
Really?
Do it again. Go, baby.
What was the name of the piece?
Go, baby. Go, baby.
That you played on the show?
Oh,
the Fleur-de-Lis?
Fleur-de-Lis.
Chopin's Fantasy Impromptu.
Fantasy
Opus 66 in C-sharp minor.
Is up to $215, including the September 11th security fee. Restrictions apply.
Leave your nickels in the couch. You can use your Visa to pay at Burger King. For a special offer, visit visa.com/BKDeal. StubHub!
Listen up, sports fans. Over the past few years, you've heard that StubHub is the best place to buy and sell tickets. So why should you use StubHub? Here's one reason: you're a sports fan. You have season tickets, you have extra season tickets, so you go to StubHub.com, sell your extras, and get cash. Here's another reason: you're a sports fan, and you want good seats for the game. You go to StubHub, find the tickets you want, and get them delivered to your doorstep. StubHub! Did you miss the on-sale for U.S. Open tennis tickets? StubHub already has U.S. Open tickets for New York City's summer event on the hard court. Tennis fans can get tickets to any session on StubHub, even packages that you get to every session all tournament long. Sports fans can also get Yankee tickets and even NFL tickets for the upcoming season on StubHub. StubHub makes sure that buyers get authentic tickets on time and sellers get paid quickly all through their industry-first Fan Protect Guarantee. To order your sports, concert, and theater tickets today, visit StubHub.com or call 1-866-StubHub. StubHub, where fans buy and sell tickets.
StubHub! 6:05 on the Fan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You said that with good energy like a wacky morning co-host would.
Oh, I'm wacky.
Chris Carlin, Kimberly Jones, Charles McCord.
Hi, guys.
Morning, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
What's up? Sense a little maybe tired of us through day one already.
No.
I know you're preparing the news, but...
Yeah, I was just distracted. I'm sorry.
No problem, Chuck. I'm not going to sit there and, pick apart every little bit of what's going on here, because I don't think that's fair to do. I really don't.
No, not this early.
I think we can sum up, a lot of what we're going to do in a couple of words. Certainly Bill Walsh, certainly trade deadline.
Yes.
We're going to get into all of that, and, we'll start with Bill Walsh in just a few moments. We're going to talk to Peter King just a little bit later on for a few minutes and get his impressions of Mr. Walsh and certainly the great impact that he had on the sport. And I've heard the word innovator an awful lot over the last 24 hours. And, we could certainly talk about the different aspects of his career that really made an impact on the game. And there certainly were many, and not the least of which was the West Coast offense. We will talk to Nick Cafardo of the Boston Globe a little bit later on, national baseball writer, get a feel for some things that might go down this afternoon. As far as the trade deadline is concerned, the Mets already a little bit active in picking up Luis Castillo. The Braves look like they've gotten Mark Teixeira. That is still just pending some physicals. And the Yankees still not willing to part with any of their top pitching prospects. Are hoping to try to get something done for a reliever later on today.
And Eric Gagne will be the story today in terms of where he goes. His agent Scott Boras saying he only wants to go where he can close, which makes you wonder about the Yankees and Red Sox being in the mix for him.
You know what? I'm willing to bet that they'll make they'll work something out to go there.
Well, and he has incentives in his contract for saves, number of saves.
Exactly, and I'm sure if they guarantee the incentives anyway or something along those lines, this won't be a problem at all. Plus, Gagne goes somewhere, and he's going to be much more valuable and much more coveted this coming offseason if he goes and sets up well this year as a closer next year for a contender as opposed to closing for a bad team.
And he and Boras have the perfect, and maybe the Rangers as well, have the perfect storm right now in the fact that the Red Sox and Yankees both see him as a major, major piece to a puzzle.
And
doesn't get better than that on trade deadline day.
And honestly, there's really not a whole lot else to work with.
Right.
He's going to be the guy that everybody's going to be looking toward today. So we've got a lot to do over the next few hours right now, 8 minutes past the hour. Let's go to Chuck with the news.
And these are the headlines this morning, guys. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts spending the night in a hospital in Maine after he suffered a seizure yesterday and a subsequent fall at his summer home. A spokesperson for the High Court says the seizure caused Roberts to fall on a dock, fell about 10 feet near his home on an island, hit his head, and had some minor scrapes as a result of that. After being transported by boat to the mainland, he was taken by ambulance to a hospital. Penobscot Bay Medical Center spokesperson Christopher Burke says Chief Justice Roberts
at that young age.
Why? Well, you know, like everyone starts drinking.
No.
By high school, everyone has gotten drunk.
Yeah, at parties maybe or something, but you know, what do you not that young either. That's pretty young to start really hammering them down.
See, the whole time, like I started I'd go out with my friend Ricky. I was in 8th grade. My friend Ricky, who I'd been friends with for a while, he was a couple years older than me. So I'd always go out with him. So that's when I started, but that was when I'd go out, I'd have 3 beers, and I'd be tipsy, be about it. But then I've been drinking ever since then, and, it's to the point where, well, I never really, I never started being able to drink, a lot until, last year. I'd be able to, buy a 6-pack and be, satisfied with it, So I'd drink a 6-pack and I'd get, I'd be, more than tipsy. But then, you always, get to that point, where there's that point where you go out and you get wasted all the time. And that was, 11th grade, And that's first. Justin's telling me to tell you that I'm 21. I'm only 18 now, but... but, yeah, so I've had the whole to go out and drink, 15 beers. But there's always that point. And you guys think I'm wasted. You're not even... No, I'm not. He's telling me to say chocolate rain. I don't even know. Are you even still there? I don't even know. Hello? Can I hang up? No, you're still on. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Okay. If I don't hear someone talking, I'm just gonna hang up. Whatever. Hello? No one's gonna talk. Hello? Are you gonna talk to me or are you not gonna talk to me? Where's Jimmy? I wanna talk to Jimmy. What's the rain? Alright, even if you can hear me, but you're not listening to me. The funniest thing is, this kid tells me to try and call in, and he says, you're going to get on because you're a girl. And that's probably the kid. Okay, so it's been fun. And if you're not going to talk to me, then whatever. It's been fun. So I'll talk to you guys later, alright? Goodbye. How do I hang up?
Welcome to the Opie and Anthony Show. The ONA virus spreading across America.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Our phone number, 877-212-ONA. Today is Rock Scream Tuesday, Anthony.
Yes, maybe we'll get some on the phone.
Oh, boy, I'm hoping. Hope
the phones light up.
Also, it's Diabolical Laugh Tuesday. It's Hummer Tuesday. And it's also Faraway Phone Call Tuesday.
What's the furthest call we've gotten for Faraway Call Tuesday?
Korea, right?
Yes, I would say
somewhere in Korea. Oh, no, I don't know. One of those Antarcticas.
Jesus Christ. It's amazing what some guys will do to get laid.
She said I wanted
to put up with that crap.
talk to Jimmy. That's music to my ears. Of course, that's requesting me.
I had to beg Jimmy, don't. We're playing the silent game. But as soon as she goes, I want to talk to Jimmy, Jimmy perked up. I need to talk to this drunk bitch.
Perhaps a number.
This is an easy target. Don't you guys understand?
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, for the newbies, that's pretty much the silent game. Sometimes they go really well. Sometimes, whatever. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Who could put up with this? She would have to be the babe of babes to put up with that drunken babble and her drunk puke breath.
Well, only half the audience heard this because we had to dump out, but the guy in the background's like, hey, tell him you got nice blanks.
Yeah. Well, and it sounded like there were a few more people over there, so expect a gangbang.
Yeah. Something's going on. Let's say hi to O-Town Joe. What's up, O-Town?
Guys.
How are you, sir? Huh?
Hey, Anthony, is that your Haggis mother-in-law?
I want to go home.
Make it right.
I want to go home.
Hey, take care, guys.
All right. It just reminds me I don't really feel like getting too hammered anymore.
Oh.
You hear that, you're like, ugh.
You know, you think you're in control. Like she was saying, I've been much more drunk than this.
And then she was going to tell us about her birthday weekend.
You're hammered. Don't you hear you're hammered?
Right. I mean, all right, technically you could be more hammered.
Yeah.
But after a point, you're hammered.
You're just gone. I could tell.
Like, no one's going to be like, well, you're hammered, but I've seen you,
Seen you worse.
A lot worse. No,
worse for
hammered.
her is pretty much just passed out. Like her panties down to her kneecaps.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, all right, that's a hell of a way to start. But look, it got the phones ringing.
Oh.
Probably people just telling us to, get lost or something. Who knows? Let's say hi to Dan. What's up, Dan?
What's happening, boys?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
See,
give my rock scream.
There you go.
All right, let's hear your rock scream, Dan.
All right.
I think that was perfect.
That was a damn good rock scream.
That could put an end to Rock Scream Tuesday. We finally got one.
It sounded just like the guy, the tape.
That was perfect, Dan. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. I'm punching out.
All right, by the way, your update on Paul Stanley, he's doing fine. But what happened? Like, his heart rate went through the roof for over an hour, and he was rushed to a hospital before a gig.
That's all I know, is he was supposed to do a show, and there was something with his heart rate, and they just, Tommy, who plays in Ace's makeup, and I think Peter, just did the show, the three of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, why miss out on all that cash?
Jeez, Gene Simmons
Gene, instead of being hospital side with his buddy,
are you
it's
kidding
just like,
me?
We could still do this show and get a couple of bucks.
How I read it, there was a bit of a panic among the Kiss camp because his heart rate went way up, and they actually went and did the show anyway.
I think they
while he's
did.
getting checked out in the hospital.
Unless I read it wrong.
God, I hope you read that wrong.
No, they did the show.
Oh, they did do the show.
They did the show.
They did the show without him.
Gene probably just sang his songs.
Yeah. As
Pretty
Paul
much.
Stanley is hooked up to all sorts of equipment, wonder if he's going to live or die.
Yeah.
Big boots hanging off the end.
Right, big, huge boots.
Where's some Kiss?
Yeah, let's hear some Kiss.
That's terrible, man. But he went to the hospital. I guess he had a tachycardia, which is it's when your heart starts beating really quick.
Okay.
It doubles, sometimes triple the rate, and you got to get it slowed down, or else burns out on you.
Do you think it would be a drag to drop dead of a heart attack with your Kiss makeup on?
Yes.
Or would that be really cool?
No, not cool.
Not cool?
Not cool. Trying to put the toe tag on the wacky shoe that he's wearing.
And then the mortician has to kind of just wipe off your makeup.
Sam.
All right, here we go. So what do we got here? Paul Stanley doing fine today.
How's everybody doing? Oh no! What should we do? Let him keep playing. Just get Paul to the hospital. Yeah. Why can't we hear you? Oh well, there he goes.
And there's Gene.
Don't mind the sirens, people.
Ignore that.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. I can sing Paul's part.
The show must go. Paul would want it this way.
Paul definitely would want it this way. Pay no attention to them pumping his chest. It's just part of the show.
Yeah, don't worry.
The rest of the group played as a trio in Stanley's absence. That's nuts.
Oh, it's Eric Singer, and he sang some of
Eric Singer?
Paul's
all right.
vocals.
Well, we're glad Paul Stanley's doing well. He's a great guy. He's been on our show many, many times.
I'd like to hear the argument between Paul and Gene about how Paul isn't getting paid for that gig.
Yeah.
You weren't there. You weren't there.
Fair is fair.
It's the first time in their 30-something year history that they did a gig. I thought they had done that before, but apparently that's just when one of them blows out their voice.
Yeah.
The other one will pick up the singing duty, but
the guy will stay on stage, right?
Do you believe you should get paid if you weren't at the gig? but I was in the hospital. I was on. Yeah, but you weren't at the gig. You believe money should come out of the food should come out of my children's mouths? No, but Gene, I really need a...
Gene, give me a break, will you? Please?
Yeah. No, you weren't there. You're not getting paid. But I have... Oh, get him out of my room. Get him out of my room.
Let's get... He'd be on the table dead, and Sam wouldn't understand. He'd think it was a girl. It's not a girl, it's a boy in makeup, Sam.
Quincy.
Of course it's Quincy.
Of course it's Quincy.
I don't even have
He
to
wouldn't understand.
I don't even have to close my eyes anymore. It's obvious.
Sam wouldn't get it. Quincy would have to explain.
Yeah.
And Quincy, I think, wouldn't even understand the makeup, though. He'd probably wipe his finger along the guy's cheek and go, "This is makeup." Like, he wouldn't understand the concept of makeup like that.
It was a porno accident, Sam. It was funny yesterday when Otto pointed out that Quincy had fleshy hands. And his fleshy hands.
His fleshy hand would open when he talked. Murder.
F and Steven S from Bayshore, man. Here's the line. Hey, Ope, I guess we can look forward to being able to buy a Kiss pacemaker soon.
Ah, the Kiss pacemaker. Sold exclusively by Gene, of course.
Yeah, well. All right, we're just getting started. Thanks to Beth and Rochester for a fine open to the Opie and Anthony show.
I would have
today.
hated to have been in that emergency room. Imagine what it smelled like after they zapped him with all that chest hair.
Just burning hair everywhere.
Just burning chest hair. Come on, people!
Well, they had to stop his heart and then restart it.
I know.
So that's a really weird. There was like 100 and something beats. Let me see. They give you the
Yeah, they had
140. What was it?
Give him a little
146.
defib.
190 plus.
190.
Oh, that's cranking.
That's bad, right? I don't know how many beats
That's
your heart does.
cranking. average, if you're kind of resting, it should be around 70.
Yeah, and then
around there. If you're rocking like that, you probably crank it up to about 130, 140 maybe.
140 possibly, sure. He was
If you're
well over
really
190.
rocking at his age. But 190, just hanging out backstage or something?
You imagine that, then also they're like, look, we just got to stop this hard to get it back to normal.
Yeah. Bam! Give him the bam!
But I'd rather you didn't. Could you do it? Could you just slow it down?
Yeah.
And that would be that. Do we have to stop it? Isn't there a better way to do that?
It doesn't know.
All right, we're going to break with little Jimmy Norton doing his version of Beth on the piano. This is Jimmy playing piano. This is Jimmy singing Beth.
Is there any doubt?
Check it out as we go to break on the Opie and Anthony Show.
Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. 'Cause me and the boys are doing some radio, and I can't find the sound. Thank you.
Could be the most disgusting program you've ever heard. What the hell is that?
Oh my God! That is effed up.
Just to clarify, it doesn't leak on its own.
Oh my God! What are you crazy?
What are you, insane? What does he have?
He has rotting corneas. What do you have? I have rotting corneas.
Wow! Let's just say he's got a growth.
All right, a scrotal growth.
Scrotal growth.
It's the return of...
You're making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month?
Uh-huh.
How did you do it? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you got Bruce A. Berman's help.
Sure did.
That Bruce A. Berman is making everybody rich.
I'm Bruce A. Berman. If you can send and receive email, you can start making money right now with my all-new, easy-as-email money-making program. And best of all, you can get it for free at my website, 7bruce.com.
The first 30 days, I made $10,000.
I made $30,000 in the first 90 days. It's fast, it's easy. If I can do it, anyone can. Just log on to my website, 7bruce.com right now, and I'll give you my easy-as-email money-making program for free. That's the number 7bruce.com. That's the number 7bruce.com. This offer won't last long, so log on and start making money now.
Good morning. What it am? Oh, what it be? 6:05 on the fan. Chris Carlin, Kimberly Jones, Kim Jones, sorry, Charles McCord. Don't want to make mistakes right out. No, not right out of the box. Nope. Can't do that. Can't disturb the delicate genius that is Kim Jones this morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. There is plenty to get into today, and we will do it all over the next 4 hours, and plenty of baseball, plenty of sports to get into with everything going on around the world. We'll even get into some Giants later on. We will do it all. That's what it, I mean, you name it, we're going to do it this morning.
We're going to even talk about a subject close to your heart.
Yes.
Rutgers football.
Yes, we will have Graciano on as camp opens tomorrow. We will get it. What? I'm sorry. What are you saying? I'm sorry.
When
she said close to your heart, of course. Why? I'm sorry. Why? Listen. It's 6 minutes after 6, and immediately you have to go. You know, you have to close to your stomach. I was willing to let it go. I was willing. But no. But here's the thing, Chuck, is that you're a foot away from the microphone, but you make sure I can hear it. So you just because you know I'm going to react. You're standing and go. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why? Oh, food. I'm going to let it go. Right? Let it go. French toast. It's early in the morning, so you want to stick to the breakfast milieu? Huh? Does it make any difference?
I say a subject close to your heart, Chuck thinks trans fat.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't you know there's a trans fat ban in this city? I apologize. Let's not get off on this foot. You started it. All right? Yes, I did. Relax. And frankly, I feel terrible. Yeah, I can sense that.
He looks really broken up.
Kyle Farnsworth is still a Yankee, Kim.
Yes, he is.
You were right.
I suspected it.
You were right.
I'm not sure who was going to take the money, and the answer was no one was going to take the money.
I hope you're happy.
I'm gleeful. I love being right.
And Scott Proctor is not, as, you know, we've talked a little bit about Proctor the last few days, and my feeling about him throughout most of the years, I still thought he was pretty good, and he was just overused, and I was starting to lose that feeling the last week or so. The one thing I will say, and we'll follow this up
after the news is that I feel like the Yankees might be a little bit worse today than they were yesterday before making the deal. A little bit. Now, I don't think this is the finished product.
No.
Because there's still a chance that Farnsworth gets dealt. Nobody is going to pick up his money and not let him go through waivers.
They could deal him because he would clear waivers.
That's what I mean. Nobody's going to just claim him on waivers, certainly. Right. So I don't think necessarily that this is the finished product, but I was definitely a little bit surprised that they did not make a little bit harder push at Gagne.
Well, and this is banking on the kids. This is banking on guys in the farm system that you will see in the coming days and weeks who the Yankees believe can fill the void and can fortify a bullpen that needs it.
Meanwhile, the Mets did not make a move yesterday and lost a brutal game last night. Tom Glavine had a shot at 300, but in the end, the game ends up getting tied off Bill Hull's double off of Mota, and then later on, Jeff Jenkins in the 13th wins it for the Brewers as they claim the 4-2 win, and the Mets did not add to their bullpen either. They were in on Gagne, they were in on Chad Cordero, and teams were just asking for too much, which kind of surprises me on the Gagne front, because as he ends up in Boston, it doesn't seem like they gave up a whole lot. Casey Gabbert's not anything that they consider to be one of their top guys, although he had pitched well in the majors this year.
And I guess that was the allure for Texas. If you ask people around baseball, they believe it was a win for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
They don't believe it was a tie. They don't believe it was a good deal for the Rangers. They see it as a win for the Red Sox.
I think that's fair.
To have shortened the game to 6 innings.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair.
So the Kurt Schillings of the world have to go 6 now.
Yeah.
And Kurt Schilling comes back this weekend, and that's a lot different than asking him to get to the 8th.
And that was, I mean, the soonest, or the time that I could think of the most that makes me think of a situation like that, the 96 Yankees were a 6-inning team. You know, you get to Mariano in the 7th and 8th, and you're good to go. It's over.
Right.
So.
And that's what they've done now with the 3.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're
Kojima, Gagne.
They're in pretty good shape. You can even mix in Manny Del Carmen in there if you need to a little bit.
They can mix him in when they have to.
Yeah. But
they will mix him in. They use him a lot.
Yeah. So.
Regularly,
they are certainly in that situation where they have helped themselves out immensely, and you would think that certainly the Yankees at this point, not that the division's over, but it's not far from being over.
Yeah, and I think you look at the wild card.
I don't think it really matters,
yourself,
though.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree. But there is a lot going on today, and we will get into it all. We will expand upon those thoughts shortly.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's
and other thoughts.
Quite a little tease, isn't it?
Yeah, there are other thoughts, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get. What do you got?
You know, they're still in progress. In an upset, Lindsay Lohan's on the cover of People magazine.
Come on. Don't throw things like that out there.
Usher still with the girlfriend who he didn't marry over the weekend.
They canceled the wedding like 3 hours before the wedding.
Right.
Chuck, you were invited. What happened?
I don't know. I sent a gift.
I couldn't go.
That was it.
11 minutes after 6, Charles has the news. What's cooking?
Nicole Richie admits she's pregnant in an ABC interview. Lindsay, the aforementioned...
Did she admit she's stupid, too?
I haven't read the entire item.
I didn't get through the whole thing.
Lindsay faces lawsuit in April fender bender. Going to court again, but this is small claims variety. O.J. Simpson criticizes the Goldman family.
He did that. We got to talk about that interview a little bit. If it's the interview that I think it is.
From that interview, yeah.
The interview was with a woman who used to work here named Kate Delaney, and it was on a website called mn1.com, I believe. Is that the same one?
Because I haven't read this entire item. I'm only reading the headlines, you know, the slugs, as they're called, from the tops of these stories, just to show you what's going on here. Yes, this is. In an online interview, it's described here, Simpson accusing Goldman's family of being hypocritical for seeking to profit from his canceled book, If I Did It, which, of course, the judge in Miami awarded the book rights to the Goldmans to help satisfy the $38 million wrongful death judgment.
Of which he has not paid a dime.
No, so I don't know why he's honked off. And The View to reveal new co-hosts on today's program.
Oh, my God, I can't wait.
So, you know, set your TiVos.
Be careful, don't fall off that edge of your chair, Kevin.
And Britney accused of threatening photographers. So,
oh, my goodness.
So there
are your headlines.
There are your headlines today. I'm through.
Job well done.
The real stuff, the genuine headlines. Rupert Murdoch, very much a headline story this morning. He has finally sealed the deal to buy the Wall Street Journal publisher Dow Jones & Company for $5 billion.
The fastest, easiest way to learn a new language. Guaranteed. Call now to request your free CD-ROM and try it with our compliments. Learn a language better than you thought possible and faster than you ever imagined. Call 1-800-500-0604 and we'll rush you the free Rosetta Stone CD-ROM today. Remember, there's no tedious translation, memorization, or drills. And the Rosetta Stone program offers 28 different languages. Call for your free Rosetta Stone demo CD-ROM today and see how easy and effective it really is. Call 1-800-500-0604. That's 1-800-500-0604.
PRA worked with my creditors and cut my debt in half.
Are credit card bills making your life miserable? Debt Relief of America can eliminate up to 60% of your credit card debt. In fact, they have helped people just like you wipe out over $15 million in credit card debt.
The best part was they worked with my creditors for me.
Get your credit card statements handy and call for a free, no-obligation debt consultation.
The people at Debt Relief really listened. No one judged me or talked down to me. They just gave me a way out.
Call for your free, no-obligation debt consultation now. 800-732-7092. The call is free. The consultation is free. The information could save you thousands of dollars and give you your freedom back. Get an army of debt negotiators on your side. Not available in all states. Call 800-732-7092. That's 800-732-7092.
Minutes after 6 a.m. Good morning, everybody. Christopher, good morning.
Good morning.
Chris Carlin, Kim Jones, Charles McCord. We walk in the door and Chuck says, "How you doing, Chuck?" Hideous.
Hideous.
That is the
Not well.
standard pat answer, but I think he actually meant it this morning.
My sinuses are just driving me nuts.
That's not what you're looking for.
Not at all.
That is not when you drew it up last night. That was not the plan.
But you asked. Now you got to hear me whine.
You're smiling through the pain, Chuck.
That's right. I'm walking it off.
Watering the tomatoes, so to speak.
I got to get home to water the tomatoes.
Exactly. That's Chuck's calming. That's Chuck's mentally reassuring activity.
That's my place I go to.
Exactly. That's his
Tomato patch.
Yeah.
That's a tomato patch.
Nice.
Exactly right. Well, we have got a lot to do throughout the morning. We will talk plenty about a lot of different stuff. About the baseball, we'll start in a few minutes. We'll get into a situation with Michael Strahan and the Giants. Paul Schwartz from the New York Post will join us later on. And Bobby Mercer, your compadre from the Yes Network, will join us, as well as they will be rebroadcasting the famous Thurman Munson game. They're calling it, they just got the rights to the game, and it's a farewell to the captain.
Right.
And they'll be rebroadcasting
Monday
night, I believe. Yes. And it'll be the anniversary, and I'll tell you, it'll be. I remember the day, and I was 7 years old at the time, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you I remember everything, but I certainly remember Reggie Jackson crying in right field, and certainly a good portion of it is Bobby had a huge game and drove in all 5 runs in that game, including the game-winning 2-run single. But we'll talk to Bobby a little bit later on. And
I remember when he died. Today, the 28th anniversary of Thurman Munson's passing.
Yeah.
I don't remember the game.
Well, I like I said, I don't remember everything about it. I remember a few little things. I remember Bobby, and I certainly remember the seeing all the pregame and the emotion that was involved there as well. So we will discuss that a little bit later on. And
knowing Bobby, he remembers every pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll go through it pitch by pitch.
And there is not a better guy, as you know.
No,
you know him a lot better than I do.
Yes, there's not a better guy than Bobby Mercer.
I only peripherally know him, and just glad to see him back. I saw him in the studio, see him at the games. It's it's terrific
to see. He's doing well. So we'll talk to him, around 8:30, I believe.
Yes, we will. And certainly there's plenty to get into in the news. The unfortunate scenario up in Minneapolis, Chuck. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
It really is.
What happened in the middle of rush hour? Give us some of the details.
Officials are now saying, Chris, that 7 people are known to have died in that, but published reports in Minneapolis, papers are saying 9 are dead and at least 20 others are missing after this 1,900-foot-long bridge that carries Interstate 35 crumbled into the Mississippi River right at the height of rush hour last night. Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty summed up the thoughts of the region.
Obviously, this is a catastrophe of historic proportions for Minnesota.
Dozens of vehicles went into water or were crushed.
Who wouldn't want that? Plus, one lucky grand prize winner will receive a trip for two to the Breakers in beautiful Palm Beach, courtesy of Lincoln Mercury. Drive off with the best savings of the year on the best lineup ever during the Lincoln Mercury Summer Drive event. Going on now. Go to WFAN.com for rules. Contest ends August 19th, 2007.
Another how-to half-minute from the Home Depot.
Honey, I just took all of Billy's art off the fridge.
Yeah?
There's a problem. Come look.
Problem? What could possibly be the... Oh, man.
I know. The fridge is uglier than I remember.
Looking for a good reason to update your appliances? Try a Home Depot gift card up to a $250 value by mail-in rebate when you buy a major appliance. But hurry in. Offer ends soon. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Good through August 5th in U.S. only. Minimum purchase $297. Void or prohibited. See store for details.
Good Friday morning to you. 6:05 on the fan. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, Chris Carlin.
Charles, what it in, my man?
What's up, Chuck?
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
KJ? You know what? There's always genuine interest in Charles' voice.
Oh, yeah. How are you, KJ?
Yeah, you know.
While I
mean,
pour my
hey,
coffee.
how you doing?
Never call me her again, you son of a...
It is a Friday morning. It's going to be another warm one here in New York City, and we have got plenty to do between now and 10 o'clock. We will discuss all things baseball, certainly, Mets and Yankees. We'll even get into a little more football. We still haven't really gotten a chance to discuss much about the Jets this week, so we'll certainly spend a few minutes on that. And whatever it is that you have interest in, Kim, that's what we'll talk about.
I did not hear much of Evan and Joe yesterday. They were at Jets camp, right?
Yes.
Did Joe reveal what jersey he was wearing?
I don't believe he did.
Okay.
I do not believe he did.
And how'd the show go?
I did not catch much of it myself.
Okay.
I was unavoidably detained.
Okay. Lots of interviews?
Yes, I would imagine so.
All
I would
the
imagine
principals
so.
came
All the
over?
principals. All the principals, as far as I know.
Pete
You're
Kendall?
asking me questions I don't know the answer to.
Well, I like doing that. In the morning, it's one of my
I
specialties.
don't know if Pete Kendall was on or not. That would have been interesting.
That would be a good show.
Absolutely.
Pete, your thoughts.
And then you just sit back and let him go.
Yes.
For a half an hour.
Yeah.
And Pete, you really have been a little bit ambiguous about what you're looking for here. You want to get out.
Could you read the computer screen, please?
They had the water boy on. Did they really? What are you doing, Dan? Okay.
A lot of bitterness behind the glass.
Crazy already.
Bitterness behind the glass already. I love it.
Wow, this is a hell of a start. 6:07.
Just kidding.
We'll start with the... and there's Lou's fake left.
Yeah.
Right, get going.
All right, never mind. That was real.
Well, certainly we should touch on the baseball to begin with from yesterday. And Yankees end up taking 2 out of 3 from the White Sox, and that was supposed to be a pitcher's duel yesterday afternoon, and it was one of the strangest games I have seen in a long time.
Forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 8-0 after 1.5. You're thinking, all right, this will be a little disappointing loss, but it'll be over in 3 hours. Not so much.
The second inning was over in 3 hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the longest inning I can remember ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It lasted an hour, I believe.
It did.
Yeah, an entire hour.
Yeah.
But the Yankees end up unable to win that game. Kyle Farnsworth up to his old tricks, but we don't even need to get into that. But you take a look at where they are right now, and they have played as well as you can hope over this stretch, over this 28, 29-game stretch to start the second half. They've only lost 7 times. It's about to come to an end. Next, they go to Toronto and then Cleveland, yes.
Right.
So
Well, it
after
comes
Toronto,
to an end this weekend.
no, I included Toronto
Oh,
at
you
the
did?
time.
Okay.
Because Toronto was under 500 at the time.
All right.
But after Toronto next week, it'll come to an end. And the Yankees at this point, having lost only 7 games during that stretch, I kind of thought they needed to go 20-9 along those lines to really have a good sniff. And they're 3 games out right now.
Right.
And there's no longer, I think the biggest thing for me, Kim,
yes,
there's no longer any desperation to it.
Oh, right. There's no longer that huge hill to climb, even though they still say they're aiming for the division, which is what else are they going to say? But that wild card is probably much more likely.
Absolutely.
And 3 games, nothing, considering what's left.
It really is. It really is. And you consider where this team came from this year, and through the first half, a lot of people felt, well, you haven't seen anything from them to think that they could make this big second-half run. And I understand it. And they still have to play a lot of difficult teams here in the second half, starting with Cleveland next week. You know, you've got Boston. You've got plenty to do as far as the good teams are concerned. But I think for them to be where they are right now, you have to be thrilled as a Yankee fan and thrilled as a Yankee observer, because you have been able to erase that gap and erase the desperation questions every day.
Yeah, I mean, they still have to win, though, and they still have to win series. And, you know, the Royals aren't awful. They really aren't. They're not awful. But you're right that they've erased all of that. I think that anyone who knows there's more than 50 games left in the season and a 3-game deficit, you know, with the Indians, essentially, when they have 3 games next week in Cleveland, would probably pick the Yankees to make the playoffs. I know people aren't.
Right.
But I'm just saying, it at this point almost seems logical, and I'm not sure we thought it was logical up until right about now.
I agree with that. And I think the other thing is, with the 50 games left, you can't expect them to win the division. I mean, we have reached that point where 8 games to make up in 50 games is probably too much to ask. And I understand that they're going to be saying the right things.
Well, they have 6 left against Boston, but Boston, unless I'm missing a series, still has 12 left against
Tampa.
the Devil Rays.
Yeah, they've got a couple of stretches
So
themselves
you've got to
coming
figure
up.
they're going to win 10 of those 12.
Exactly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think
Let's even say 9 of those 12.
All you're worried about, the division, honestly, really doesn't mean that much.
No,
In the grand
not
scheme,
anymore.
It doesn't
No,
mean
it
anything.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Well, we'll get into it some more. We've got plenty to do this morning. Well, maybe we'll get some calls later on, too. We'll see how
You
we're
think
feeling.
so?
I don't know. Maybe.
We took them late in the game yesterday, very late.
And they loved you.
It was very
Chuck,
interesting.
it almost got...
Goodness.
I mean, it almost got uncomfortable.
It really did.
Yeah.
But, you know, we admire KJ.
Did you get any reaction to that at the stadium?
There was reaction.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about the reaction.
Yeah, it's 6:12. We have time.
We admire KJ, and may I amend, understandably so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You bet.
There's admiration all over the
Oh, there's so
side of
much
the table over
admiration in here. Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. Charles is here at 11 minutes after 6. What's going on, big guy?
Head of the National Transportation Safety Board, Chris, says it will be at least until the agency makes it, at least some time now, before the agency makes its final report on the cause of Wednesday evening's bridge collapse on Interstate 35. In fact, can't say how long. NTSB Chairman Mark Rosenkirch says his team will painstakingly reconstruct the bridge in Minneapolis to try to determine what happened, what caused this span that looks so structurally sound to suddenly give way.
This will be a complex investigation.
There are engineering issues that we're going to have to determine. There are materials issues which we're going to be studying, and they don't come quickly. First thing we must do is recover the pieces. And after we recover these pieces of the bridge, we will begin actually trying to reassemble them, but kind of in a jigsaw puzzle way.
And, of course, the ramifications now are enormous. Federal Transportation Secretary Mary Peters says there must be a top-to-bottom review of this country's bridge inspection program. She has alerted states to start inspecting all bridges similar in design to the I-35 span. At the present time, the death toll still stands at 4. 80 people injured. The number of missing has been revised to 30. Because the collapsed span is part of the National Interstate Highway System, the federal government is stepping up with funding and information. Yesterday, the White House said a 2005 inspection of the I-35 span did find some problems. It rated 50 on a scale of 100 for structural stability and was classified as structurally deficient. The Transportation Secretary says that particular designation does not necessarily mean that a bridge is in fact unsafe. Administration spokesman Tony Snow says the White House doesn't see a need for a wholesale review of all bridges right now.
An incident like this, I'm sure, has a galvanizing effect on people all over the country. They're going to take a close look at their needs, but keep in mind there is a vigorous program of inspection. There always is.
Engineers spotted structural problems in the I-35 bridge as far back as 1990, but state officials thought patches and yearly inspections would be sufficient to keep everything okay. The span was in the midst of repairs, in fact, when it buckled. During the evening rush hour, Minnesota's governor has ordered an immediate inspection of all bridges in the state with similar designs. In fact, a lot of governors around the country now are scrambling to conduct bridge inspections, ordering engineers to review the safety of thousands of structures per day, if they can, after the span over the Mississippi and Minneapolis went down. There are dozens of human stories of survival in connection with the collapse. One is that, perhaps you've heard about this kid, 20-year-old Jeremy Hernandez, who said he was thinking, I don't want to die, as that school bus that you saw in so much of the video he was riding in began to plunge after the bridge collapsed. Hernandez is being hailed as a hero by the children and their families, also authorities, as he rushed to save the kids by removing them, actually in some cases tossing them off the bus after he kicked the rear door open for people rushing up to help.
I just jumped over the seats and I opened the back of the door, turned around and trying to throw kids off the bus. All the kids were lining up on the bridge right there by the bus, and I could feel this bridge still shaking, and then people are running up to the bridge, handing them to me, and I'm handing kids over to the guys that were on the streets.
Hernandez said, I'm lucky to be alive and lucky that none of the kids were hurt. 20-year-old Jeremy Hernandez there in Minneapolis, indeed a hero.
Wow. I mean, that's...
He's an astonishing kid if you saw him at all.
I did see him a little bit yesterday. I mean, that's as impressive as it gets.
Absolutely. And I mean, he reacted instantly, and he reacted exactly correctly.
You always wonder about instinctually how something like that's going to go. You know, how you react in that situation, and it's
his instinct was perfect, you know.
Meanwhile, I would be shoving you out of the way. If it were like you and me and you in the car, if it were me and you in the car, it would be, goodbye, Chuck.
That's it. I'm out of here.
I can vouch that he would do that.
Lou and I
was involved with him a couple times.
It happened one time where we almost were walking on the sidewalk and there was a car accident, and I basically took off, and about 5 minutes later, hey, where's Lou?
Hey, you were walking with me, weren't you?
I'm sorry about that, buddy.
AAA says a federal report determined that over 100, to show you the scope of the problem, over 100,000 bridges nationwide are deficient for either structural or functional reasons. The federal report says the highest percentage of those bridges are in the Washington, D.C. area. The findings were compiled in 2005, suggest that just over 63% of more than 250 road bridges in the District of Columbia area are either structurally deficient or functionally obsolete. Officials quickly point out, though, again, that because a bridge carries that label now after inspection does not mean it's actually on the brink of collapse or anything, but it does mean it is in need of attention. Also in the headlines, President Bush today will huddle with his Homeland Security and counterterrorism teams as lawmakers get closer to a deal on expanded surveillance powers. Defense Secretary Gates says U.S. officials underestimated how hard it would be for the Iraqi government to pass political reforms. A U.S. appeals court has ruled that 3 major insurers are not liable to cover flood damages in New Orleans from Hurricane Katrina. And the number of U.S. women who breastfeed babies is at an all-time high. Centers for Disease Control Prevention reports 74% of women who gave birth in 2004 nursed their babies for some period of time. And those are among the top stories this morning, 17 minutes after the hour.
This is a rate alert for August 2007. In spite of the ongoing adjustment in the housing sector, the Fed has recently decided not to change rates, resulting in some of the lowest mortgage interest rates in years. Mortgage leader Quicken Loans currently reports rates around 5.75%. Call 800-763-1388 right away. Don't let a rate around 5.75% get away from you. It could cut hundreds off your house payment. Be warned, mortgage rates can change any day without notice, so don't miss